Ferrari's misery was to some degree joy, I suppose, for the Mercedes team. George Russell scoring his third podium finish of the season and Lewis Hamilton behind him in fourth. Alex, how do you feel about Mercedes at the moment, just generally overall, pace versus they've obviously still got a big technical issue?
Okay, well, both the drivers are really complaining about the porpoising, so it's obviously an issue. And we saw how Hamilton got out the car. He looked really stiff. The back looked stiff. But I'm going to start getting worried if I was a Hamilton fan, because this man, George Russell, is putting in some really good performances. You know, beginning of the season, we were saying, making a mountain out of a molehill. Yes, Russell was quick at the beginning of the season, but Hamilton was there, you know. But now we're getting closer to the middle of the season. Hamilton's going to start getting worried, you know, because they're now truly into the season. They're in their stride, and Hamilton he'll be on top of things more at this point. You can't really keep saying that it's a process and stuff like that, you know, because it is a seven-time world champion. And Russell's actually improving, if you ask me. I actually think Russell maybe started the year well, but I actually think he's getting even better now. And I think this will start getting Hamilton a little bit worried. I mean, Russell's performance today, especially in contrast to Hamilton, was quite extraordinary. And, you know, if you're a fan of George Russell, it's looking good for you.
Absolutely. Steve, we haven't had you on, obviously, on the show ever before, but certainly not this season. So what is your view on the Lewis Hamilton, George Russell dynamic?
Well, I've got to go. I'll put behind me straight away. I just don't get Lewis's dress sense. But what I would say is that in George Russell, they have got somebody who can step into a car and get the car into a winning position, just as Lewis Hamilton can. Red Bull have got the same with Sergio Perez, of course. And I think ultimately when the car comes to him, Carlos Sainz will be in a similar situation. Those are all the perfect situations to be in if you're a team manager, where you've got a driver who is equally as capable as your number one star of winning races. Potentially, George Russell, I think, in the fullness of time, will be a potential world championship winner. He already expects that by now he should have been winning Grand Prix with the Mercedes team. And it's a sign of a problem with the car, obviously, which has been well discussed. That he hasn't been able to. But he's ahead of Hamilton in the points. He's consistently ahead of him on the starting grid, and he's consistently ahead of him at the checkered flag. And that has to be a worry for Lewis Hamilton.
It's a very good point, isn't it? And it was earlier this week, I think, that it was on this day, back in 2007, that Lewis won his first Grand Prix. And it was just 6 races into his rookie season. Exactly to your point, Steve, that I think George will be thinking, I can't believe I've waited for 2 years to get into this Mercedes, and now I get a car that's not race winning. Lewis, of course, has gone on to win those 7 championships, 103 wins, 103 pole positions, and 183 podiums. We've got so much more to discuss, ladies and gentlemen, on the Go F1 Show. Please do send us your questions, your tweets, your comments at Go F1 Show